What's going, folks? Nick here with the Permaculture vlog. Otto the garden cat just behind me on the chair here, or about to jump up to the chair, especially if I do this. So here we go. And this is the Permaculture vlog. I think I already said that. Today I'm going to do just a couple little things in the backyard that need to get done. Harvest some of these plantains, checking on the chickens, etc. It's going to be a kind of a short, quick little get some things done kind of day, so nothing too intense. So if you just got a few things to do and I got to get up to work, we're just going to get started. A little bit more close-up of Otto the garden cat, my little co-star here. He's being a very playful boy this morning. Got another, let's see, 0.1 inch of rain. Just over 2 mils, 2.5 mils of rain last night, or really it was yesterday was most of the rain, then we got some this morning at least. Over the past 24 hours, I should say. It wasn't quite just last night. Here are the chickens. 2 chickies. They're all up here today. It's usually odd, usually they're kind of spread out, but I guess they're waiting on me. So I better keep moving before they start rebelling against me. Go. Everyone likes a fermented feed, as you can see. So it was a little bit of a fight over it in the morning. 2 baby chicks, this is the kind they like the best, but the other mama, the darker mama, she's not so much of a fan. And of course we got my mama checking out the camera pretty intently right now, making sure it's not a threat. And the chicks get a little bit of a chance now that Mama's distracted by me over near the gate, which is behind the camera here. You can't see it, but she's over here with me. Now the chicks get a chance to eat their little soaked feed. And of course Henry gets some nice fresh food too. And there's still some soaked feed at the bottom there. He'll still eat that if he works through the dry stuff on top. I think Henry prefers the soaked feed. Soaked feed is just a little easier to digest for them, and if I actually think I'm going to go and start getting into fermented feed, which basically just means overnight you let the feed sit in water so it ferments for 24 hours or however long you let it ferment, and it actually becomes more digestible and also becomes more nutritious, as most fermented things are more nutritious for you. It starts breaking down everything that's a little harder to break down for the chickens themselves, and is therefore a little bit healthier for them and easier to digest. They get more out of it. So fermented feed can end up saving your feed bill quite a bit and give you healthier chickens. So I think I'm going to start doing that. Since I have been soaking for so long, it's pretty much the same thing. I just have to do it a day in advance. So instead of me giving them freshly soaked feed, basically adding water and adding feed to it, I'll do that the morning before, and then the next morning I'll actually just give them the soaked feed. So really the only thing I need to do to change that is basically have a dedicated bucket or a dedicated bin that I'm soaking the feed in every day, that I can just keep rotating through. So it's not going to be a very hard change to make, and it'll be, I think, benefit for my chickens, and also it's going to save me quite a bit of feed because there's not going to be a bunch of dry feed waste. The other thing that's nice about fermenting, or at least soaking, at the very least, is all like the dusty bits in your feed, it'll end up getting sucked up by the water, and so you'll have a little bit more of a actual feed going to your chickens. So that's always a benefit. Apparently I let this one sit one day too long, because now it's really soft right here. I don't know if you guys can see that really well, but it's really kind of soft and gooey here. So this one was too long, so I'm going to harvest all the orange ones now. All right, so I just harvested 4 of those because I just didn't want them to get more rotted. I'd rather have more to harvest and eat. All right, so next task is going to be to remove these plantains that are ready. And whenever I harvest plantains, we also have to harvest the trunk itself. So this whole bed's going to get way more sun exposure, and I'm guessing it'll like it. I'm going to prune back these zinnias because they're just falling over. They're kind of all falling over because they're so tall. So maybe I'll just cut them down low. Just kind of encourage them to move this way. I just harvested, I just cut the that long stalk off. I did leave it right here, so this might start to regrow right there. We'll see. Next step, we're gonna get these down. So since that was not so high off the ground, I was able to just grab it. Usually I'd cut the whole tree down first. And now for the tree itself, I basically need to do it without harming this one right behind it, which is the new one that's going to take over. So I'm just going to kind of carefully come in here and give myself a little bit of a start. Tough one. Do you guys see all that water pouring out? I don't know if you can. I'm going to split this guy in half, make it a little bit easier to use for mulch. It's not really a hard process, it just sometimes takes a while to get started. I have these two halves, and you can see immediately all these kind of large leaves, basically, of the banana trunk start peeling off. And I can use these big guys to be big, bulky mulch in the garden. Anything that peels off easily, I just pull off because it's easier to use it like that. And all this is really moist, really wet. Lots of water content in here. So right back here is a big strip of nothing growing. And so I'm just going to put that right there. All right, so I just add a bunch into this garden here, just to give this a little bit more kind of protection where there's nothing really growing. It'll keep it nice and keep the soil cool, keep the weed pressure down, and yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And I did put one large one right along here on the edge because I do find there's a lot of grassy growth ends up coming up in here, and nothing's growing here. So I figured I'd put that down. It'll help keep that soil moist. It also adds bananas, plantains, high in potassium, so there's going to be naturally lots of potassium in that water, and the water within the trunk itself. So that's just going to be adding some potassium to the ground too. Anything else I'm going to add into this bed because it's becoming a little bit bare in a couple spots. Cat always loves to play when I have these banana leaves around. Very playful cat, this one. And I'm just going to leave those banana leaves right in the pathway here for now. I'll just keep on degrading, and eventually it'll turn into mulch for the garden. And really soil for the garden because it'll all break down here. So this is, protecting my pathway. That's what I do with the rest of the banana leaves. If I'm not using them for mulch immediately, that's what I'm doing. Right up here, showed this yesterday, but I realized that my camera movement was pretty fast. But you can see all these little baby arugulas coming up. They're enjoying this little area, hoping that they'll come to fruition down here and give us some more greens for our bellies. Yeah, kind of sporadic. I kind of sporadically threw in all the seeds over here, so I'm not really surprised by that. That's kind of somewhat sporadic, but typically I'm going to want them every 3 to 6 inches, the arugula, to get decent size out of them. So I'll just end up thinning them or transplanting the little ones somewhere else if they end up getting too close together, and that's okay with me. Okay, just gonna do one more little thing over here. Just clean up a little bit. I still haven't really cleaned up fully from the storm. I've been kind of lazy. So I have a couple of these sugar canes down. I'm just gonna kind of clean up a little bit. So all these, if I wanted to, as you can see right here, if I wanted to, this little kind of side shoot of this sugar cane is starting to have roots down here. So I could shove that in the ground and have another sugar cane coming out. I don't really need any more sugar cane. I just use it for mulch and windbreak. And I don't have that big of a property. But if I wanted to say sell these or start a little nursery, here you can see a little bit better here. See all those roots coming off of this one cane here? All of them right here, roots, all that. So all this could be planted and give me more sugar canes, but I don't really need them because there's plenty. We don't even use it really for anything. We could make juice out of it. You can basically press it and make this juice. It's really good in some, if you had some lemon and lime to it. When I was traveling in Zanzibar, I had a lot of the juice here mixed in with, I think it was lemon and lime. They'd fresh squeeze lemon and lime. Oh, it was very good. Some people love the sugarcane juice, like the fresh squeeze stuff. I'm like fine with it. It's not great. It's not bad. It's a lot of sugar, that's for sure. Not like processed sugar though. It's kind of like it's sweet and it has kind of a, I don't even know how to describe it, honestly. You'll have to try it yourself. So all this is going to become bedding for the chickens. There we go. So yeah, a little bit of cleanup here, and look at all this bedding, all this material. So sugarcane's really high in silica, so this stuff works really well in pathways. If you have non-gravel pathways and you want to have something there that's going to last a while and help keep everything down, the weed pressure, the mud, all that down, sugarcane's great. It's really, because it's really high in silica, it takes a long time to break down. Palm fronds are the same. They're the same thing. It takes a long time to break down because of the high in silica. So there's just a couple options for you. Add some down here underneath where the chickens sleep at night. I'll add some manure to it, help it break down a little bit faster. So you kind of have options here. If you have a chicken system and you want these to break down quickly, add them underneath the coop where they're going to be manuring, and then that manure will help break it down a little bit faster. If you just want to have bedding that's not going to break down, just throw it down, leave it. It will break down over time, especially if you're walking on it or you have animals disturbing it at all. But the way I see it is, it's all compost material. It's all material that end up being thrown into a compost pile when we get enough material for that. And here we go, a little bit cleaner, a little easier for me to access Henry's little cage over here with a little bit less stuff hanging down on me. I just keep pulling it every time. But what's nice is that these, as they die off the actual cane here, they just leave all these things that are easy to pull off, and it just keeps on adding mulch. I'm actually leaving a couple of them over here to act as mulch for my little pathway on this side. And then here's the actual canes with the kind of the root nodules coming off there. So these things could grow. So what I've been doing is just kind of throwing these back here, and they'll end up shooting up new growth, and I can just cut that back. This one right here, this one coming off, I believe is because of one of these that I just laid down. And I think I also put one down near where the way down there where my little mini greenhouse is still kind of fallen over from the storm. I did throw one at the bottom there, thinking that it would be a nice little bottom of the property kind of windbreak kind of thing too. So we'll see if that actually takes down there. And yeah, that's really all the tasks I want to get done today. It's probably gonna be a pretty quick vlog today. And that's okay, because we got a couple things done, and that's kind of the goal. Every one of my vlogs, I just try to get a little bit done back here, a little bit of progress moving forward. Ooh, my new tarp setup is pooling water right here, which is not great. I have to try to get that rolled the other way. so that when it comes down to the bottom here, it wants to roll off, not on. We definitely do not want mosquitoes collecting. That should probably help a little bit, even just like right there, because when it tries to collect here, it's just gonna kind of slide off. So yeah, this is the new kind of shelter for the chickens down here. So it protects the compost area. I'm actually thinking about adding, instead of having it tied over to the fence line over here, and then it's just kind of hanging over on this side here, I'm actually thinking about using the these PVC pieces, just like I did over in the gardens here, with that little loop, and then basically loop it across up and down a couple times. And then just kind of make sure it's tight against that, and that might actually give a nice little raised area in the middle that I can actually walk under without having to duck all the time. So I think that might be a good plan for that. And we'll see. I tend to think of these ideas and I ponder them for a while, and then eventually I'll try to act on them, because often that idea is a good one. Often that idea has some negative consequences that I didn't realize, but if I just think on it a little while, eventually it'll be like, all right, cool, let's try it. So that'll be in the future. Yeah, so that's it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel, and it really just helps me get that motivation to keep going every time I see that subscriber count go up. And share videos. If you're already subscribed and you find a video you really like, please share that to your communities. That really also helps me get the word out and get my videos seen around there. And really that's what it is. It's just getting the videos out there and getting more people to see them, to just to get some more feedback, see what people think, see what people like and don't like, etc. Yeah, that's about it. All right, guys. Until next time, have a good one.